So before we get into this video, I just want to let you all know my son is homesick from school right now, so he's in the background watching some TV, so you might hear him kind of playing because the playroom is right next to my office, so I can watch him while I work. So just keep that in mind. If you hear some like, what the heck is that background? It's just my little guy. He's just having fun. Don't worry about it. Anyways, back into the normal intro. Hey Coven, welcome back to the Heathen Hedge Witch. I am Runa Strong. This is my channel where I like to talk about everything under that massive spiritual umbrella, and that includes things like paganism, witchcraft, mental health, paranormal. We talk about it all here. So if that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. And yeah, that's it. That's the intro. No, I'm just kidding. Today we're going to talk about my top 9 different signs that you are experiencing a spiritual download, just so that way you can confirm that, aha, yes, wisdom has been sent my way. Time to do something about it and get your journal out, meditate, whatever it is that you do to kind of start unraveling the information. Now, if you're like, wait, I don't have anything that I do to start unraveling the information, don't worry, I'll make another video about how to do that later. But first, I feel like we should talk about the signs to know that you're getting one in the first place, right? Cool. So that's what this video is about. If that's something you're interested in, don't forget to leave the little thumbs up and consider, you know, watching and stuff. I've adjusted my lighting a little bit. It's taking me out of my thoughts because it is just so bright. So this will hopefully be a short and sweet little video because these signs aren't really something that need to be delved into and discussed super in depth. They are just signs. What you get from these signs, that's a whole nother video topic entirely, and maybe we'll digest that a little bit further down the road. But for now, let's just talk about what it looks like when we get these. Alright? So sign number 1 is your ears ringing. And a lot of us have experienced this since we were children, and we probably didn't even realize that we were getting a download because we thought, oh, just our ears doing that weird thing again. But actually, we're getting a download, we're getting information. And sometimes that information, especially when we were kids, could just simply be our ancestors navigating us through an argument with our parents or with our siblings or something along those lines. Now, it's probably a little bit more advanced, depending on if you are a starseed, it might be from an alien. You know, if you are a pagan like myself, it could be from your deity. It could be, again, from your ancestors. I feel like no matter what your path is, you should work with your ancestors, so that's always applicable. But again, it depends on you and your path, right? Where they come from, probably everywhere, depending on you. I mean, but one of the major signs that I've experienced myself, as well as others that I know of have experienced, is definitely a ringing in your ears. There's an old wives' tale, so to speak, that if it's in your right ear, it's good news coming, and your left ear, bad news is coming. I don't necessarily know if that is true, but I think it's interesting to think about. Number 2 is synchronicities. So one of those things can be repeated numbers like 1111, and that's kind of its own topic, so we'll talk about it later. But the main thing that I like to think of when it comes to synchronicities is, let's say that you just had a thought in your head that said, oh, maybe I should go apply for a new job. I'm just really feeling like this boss isn't the one for me. And then the next thing you hear on the radio or TV is this guy saying, yes, brilliant, what an awesome idea. And it's totally unrelated to what you have going on in your head, but at the same time, it connected. Right? That's a synchronicity, and that's something that shouldn't be ignored because it's kind of like in the movie Transformers when Bumblebee talks through the radio. Sometimes our deities and ancestors can do that. Sometimes the right song comes on at the right time because it's a message. It's not just there. It's synchronicity, and it's happening all around us. So I really encourage you to be open to looking for those signs and synchronicities because I think it's a lot of fun. And if you're a low energy practitioner like I can be most of the time, it's a really cool way to feel connected because you are. Sign number 3 is incredibly vivid dreams, because a lot of times we think we may be dreaming, but really we are astral traveling and we are acquiring information from whatever our source might be. And a lot of times our deities will give us information that unlocks better in a dream because they are able to show us the symbolism that we may not otherwise come across, as far as like a sigil or a rune that might help us. That is a really common way to receive messages from Odin and Hel, I've noticed, in the Norse pagan community. And other deities do it too. I just feel like it's really their go-to calling card is a dream. So a lot of times, like when I know my ear is ringing and I just asked Odin for a sign, I'm like, okay, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed and I'm gonna unlock this. And I mean, I won't go to bed right away if it's like 2 in the afternoon, but I will think about, you know, when I go to bed, I'm like, okay, I need to process. Odin sent me a message today and I really just need to receive and open it. And I'll do that. You know, you just gotta set that intention going down to sleep, and before you know it, that information's coming up. Number 4 on our signs is disassociating. And this can be like linked to a lot of different things. This isn't strictly a psychic download thing. I mean, there are a lot of mental health things that are related to disassociating. There's literally dissociated identity disorder. Like, there's a lot of different things. So keep that in mind. This isn't strictly getting a download, but sometimes we do tend to be less present here, so we can be more present on the other side, so to speak, to receive information coming from over there. I feel like a lot of times this is a moment when our higher self like puts us on hold, so that way they can go get information, and then they come back and they're like, girl, get your teacup ready, I gotta spill. And that's kind of how that goes, in a very chaotic analogy. Anyway, number 5 on our list of signs is a migraine. And that is something that I don't see discussed too much, but it is incredibly common, so I feel like I have to talk about it. Because holy shit, Odin, why do you gotta fuck with my head this way? Like, I literally feel like my head is doing the emoji, you know? And he gets me like this a lot, and I'm just like, Dad, the fuck? But that's the thing, is that deities are like sometimes 9th, 12th dimensional beings, and so they have like massive information that they're trying to put in our little 3D brains, and it is really hard for us to process that information sometimes. So yes, that information leads to a headache. Sometimes it will literally feel like from the shoulders up. Sometimes you will get a full-blown migraine just because your deity has a big download coming in for you, or your ancestor, or whoever you're working with. And yeah, it can be a little bit overwhelming. It can definitely cause a lot of pressure in the brain. Everything connected to it, especially the brainstem. I find they start as like a pain in the neck headache for me, and I don't know if it has to do with like something in the brainstem connecting to the upper chakras, where intuition. I mean, we also have like our gut intuition too, right? But that's different because that's more like instinct. Intuition that is like guided from above comes in through the crown. So I don't know, like brainstem, like I don't know. I'm just a mere mortal, and I have ideas, and that's about as far as they go, at least for now. But anyways, number 6. This one is a lot of fun. This one doesn't happen as often to me because I'm more clairaudient, but I do have my clairvoyant moments on occasion. And it is so crazy because it is literally, I have like a That's So Raven moment where I'm just like, because I'm like seeing something, and it's normally just like a flash. So that's why I will often refer to them as flashes versus visions, just because it is just a flash of an image and then it's gone. And sometimes it's just a symbol. It's just a rune. I just need to see algaes to know that yes, my protection spell worked. Or this one time when I was with my cousin, who unfortunately his dad had passed away, but his dad is also one of my most worked with ancestors. And he went to go ride his bike and he didn't have a helmet on, and I saw my uncle do this. Like, what are you thinking? You know, where's the helmet on his head? Come on. And I just saw that as a flash, and I instantly like, where's this helmet? He needs it right now. Uncle Bruce is yelling at us. Oh my god. Like, I was freaking out. But it was cool, right? Because I received that download instantaneously. I didn't have to like process too much. It was just there. It was a visual. And I thought that was really cool, and I really appreciate when I can have those experiences. And I do find that I get them the most when I'm doing like past life readings for folks, or past life regression, which we offer on our website. No pressure. Just thought I wouldn't mention it. But I do find that I get flashes with those the most, so I really enjoy doing those readings a lot because of that. I feel like it really heightens my gifts to look into the past. I don't know. Is that something that other people experience? Let me know in the comments, because I'm curious now. Sometimes a download will come simply because next thing you know, you're talking to yourself and you're having a discussion, and you have a thought, and then you talk out loud, and then you have a thought, and then you talk out loud. You're actually talking to your higher self, and your higher self is taking over the brain while your lower self is taking over the mouth. And we will talk more in depth about the 3 souls and what all of that means, probably in the next video actually. But for now, we're going to keep it simple and just say that your higher self and your lower self like to come together in your middle self, and that comes out your mouth as your middle self. So sometimes one of them will like jump in. It's complex, right? It's the pact that we make to be born. And like I said, future video, if it's already up, if you happen to be like watching this while it's live, you can go watch it right here. I think this is the right spot for links. If not, I will take notes in left hand only. Yes, talking to your higher self. And if you don't know how to establish that, just having a conversation with your higher self point, if you're not quite there, you can easily reach that step just by meditating and really connecting to your higher self that way, or praying to your higher self and be like, hello, higher self. I have been vibrating down here on this lower self energy for a long time, and I would really please like to vibrate higher and have deep connections with you, because I feel like you know a lot of shit that could help me out. So let's chat. And you can just like open the floor remember that easily. It doesn't have to be like, hello, big wise higher self, please come instill knowledge upon my mortal brain. Like, you don't have to swear fealty to yourself or bow down to yourself. Like, you're literally talking to yourself. So talk to yourself however you would talk to your best friend, because you are. Now, we talked about special numbers earlier, but they deserve their own category because numerology is its own topic, and it honestly deserves its own video, just numerology in general. But the way that they become synchronicities for downloads specifically, I think is really cool, because a lot of times it can again come on as a song on the radio. Like the song might have something to do with a certain number, and you just might be like, oh, and it might just be in a lyric. It might not necessarily be in the title, but definitely one of the most common things that people see are repeated numbers in the time, which I'm currently pointing to my clock behind the camera, so I don't know why I'm pointing like you can see. But a lot of people will refer to the time, such as seeing 1111, 222, 444. Those are all really good numbers for abundance. 111 is a good number to let you know like it's a good time to start. It's a good time to begin new projects. 333, mode B, you know, great time to do spell work, different things like that. Again, it deserves its own larger in-depth video. But in regards to receiving signs to let you know that a download is coming, I think that those are the more visual ones that a lot of people will notice in the beginning, because it's tangible, right? Like you can see it, you can process it. It isn't just something that you can hear and then wipe off because there's no like visible physical evidence. There is. It's right there on the clock. You saw it, 333, mode B. Your spell was received by the other side. Congratulations. Your manifestations are coming. You know, it's different things like that that just let us know that like, okay, the universe is listening. My guides heard me. My gods are paying attention. They have my back. Like that roadblock worked, so now my manifestation should be coming through. Like I'm really hoping, and you can actually allow yourself to like start to build that energy now because you got that confirmation. Then like yes, it's coming, and the energy you build isn't going to waste, right? Like it's coming through, and I think I love those. I love those little like alignment moments with time. Something that I've been doing since I was a kid is making a wish on 11/11. I don't know if this is other people, but like yesterday was my mom's birthday, and I noticed that it was 11/11, and so I was like, oh my god, 11/11, make a wish. Like you have to, it's your birthday. Just thought I would throw that out there while we're talking about times and numbers and all of that stuff. The final sign that you got a spiritual download is the proof. You see it happen. The guides told you that guy's a womanizer. Don't go out on a date with him again. He might end up actually being physically abusive. And then next thing you know, you see a post on Facebook about, have you seen this man? He's wanted for beating a Tinder date or something like that. And you're just like, I just avoided a bullet. Oh my god, that poor girl. And then you pray for her because that was almost you. And you are just like, ah. And no, this isn't coming from like a direct example or anything. That was just a random idea that popped in my head. But if you resonate with that, I'm so sorry. But also congratulations for listening to your intuition and getting the fuck out of there. But that's just a really exaggerated example. But honestly, the proof is in the pudding, and it really lets you know like, I can do that. I can receive those. And the next thing you know, you're trying to like win the lottery and it doesn't happen because it doesn't work like that. But it will probably save your life. Like I have had, these are real examples now. I have had moments where I was just going about my business, taking the route that I always take back home from my grandmother's house. And all of a sudden I felt the need to turn down a road I've never been on before. Had no idea where it led to, but I just felt my uncle guiding me, my ancestor. And I was like, okay. And so I take this route and we go around and about and blah, blah, blah. And I think I avoided not only some speed traps, but possibly some accidents. I thank him for that. You know, he's with me a lot when I travel, and I appreciate those tips, especially when it comes to avoiding accidents when I've got my little in the car, you know, my little guy. Very, very precious cargo in the back seat. Gotta be careful, you know. I don't be fucking around ignoring my intuition when I'm driving, because he will be like, you could have avoided that, and then he'll yell at me. So I just don't want to get yelled at by my ancestors, and I just listen to them when they tell me stuff now. And I've been there where you doubt yourself, and so therefore you doubt their message, and then they get mad at you. This is why I'm making this video, so you don't have to go through that anymore. The proof is in the pudding. I know it's a cliche saying, but it's true, especially when it comes to psychic download. Please trust your intuition. If you feel it in your core, if your gut is like, no, really, if your brain is like, bitch, why are you having anxiety about this? I just told you. That's the thing between intuition and anxiety, is intuition comes without a doubt. And if you try to question it, it will question why you're questioning it. It will be like, bitch, did I stutter? Your intuition will yell at you for questioning it, where anxiety will go through all of the notions and blah, 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 and the what ifs. Fuck that. That's not a real message. That's just your intuition being posed as by your anxiety. It's not your real intuition. It's just a puppet master of anxiety. Anxiety can fuck off. We'll talk about that in another video because it comes in a lot of forms. But Psychic downloads, they always come very solid, very assured, very like, bitch, I just gave you the information, can't you read? Like, that is what will happen for you when you get a real download. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, my babies. I love you so much. If you got to this far in this crazy, chaotic, very unscripted, I just take notes and then like talk to you based off of what I wrote on my notes, which is literally like the categories that I wanted, and that was basically it. So if you get through my crazy unscripted videos to the end, you are amazing. Write like your favorite thing that you would hoard if you were a goblin in the comments if you get this far. I love you so much. Please take care of yourselves, be good to each other, stay weird, think like the madman Odin himself, and above all, spread more love and peace. I will see you next Woden's Day. Bye.